Okay, let's just cut to the chase. Today we are going to be talking about Black Myth Wukong. We actually looked at this a while ago. I'll have that video linked up there, but now they have an actual official gameplay trailer to look at. I mean, I think what we looked at before was a bit of a gameplay trailer, but obviously a lot of time has passed since then, and we can take a look at this. One thing to note is that it seems they are using Unreal Engine 5, not 4, but 5. So there's very few games, I think, that we're seeing, like big games, I guess, that are coming out. I mean, this is made by a small team as far as I'm aware, but there are very few kind of large-scale teams that are actually using Unreal Engine 5 since it's not really released. It's still early access, which means that it's not really production ready. In fact, Epic Games itself doesn't recommend it for production. So because of that, it's a little bit of a risk to kind of start using it and transition your team onto it unless you're sure that you won't be releasing for a while. So for that reason, primarily, I'm really interested in taking a look at this trailer, which I haven't seen yet. It's been out for 10 days, I haven't seen it yet. A lot of people always ask me if it's true that I haven't seen these things. It is true. I'm a busy guy. I don't think I need to tell you guys that making a game engine is hard, and that's kind of my job full time, so I don't have time for many things. And by the way, if you guys want to see like more of how my game engine is doing and maybe learn a little bit more about how game engines work, definitely check out my main channel, which is just called the Cherno. I'll have a link somewhere, because I tend not to post that often to this channel since it's more of like just a side hobby for me. In fact, I recently made a video on Bloom, how it works, how game engines implement it, how tutorials teach it wrong, how my game engine does Bloom, everything about Bloom. Check out that video for sure if you're interested a little bit more about the technology behind some of these graphical effects. Anyway, let's dive into Black Myth Wukong, take a look at this. As I mentioned, super excited to take a look at this. I'm probably not going to like do the thing where I watch it once and then react to it and then stop and pause it. I'm just gonna stop and pause it. There's a link in the description below to the original video. Probably watch that first before you watch my kind of reaction / analysis. But anyway, let's just dive in. So everything you're about to see was captured in-game running in real time. Okay, so that's useful to know. It doesn't say what platform. I'm gonna assume PC probably. I'm not even sure if Early Access Unreal supports all the platforms properly, so that's probably worth noting. Work in progress does not represent a final look at the game. Pretty typical. So far, I'm just seeing a lot of vertices. Lots of detail. Oh. That right there might as well be a real world shot. I mean, look at this. There's so much going on here from like a kind of rendering point of view. Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. Movement of the trees is like a little bit robotic. That just kind of stood out to me. I just want to stop this quickly and say the amount of detail that these artists have put into this, like, as far as I know, this is a relatively small team, but it does not seem like it is whatsoever. Like, Unreal Engine 5 might be amazing, but you still have to make these things that we're looking at, right? And you have to make them in much the same way that you would make them for any other engine in the past, except possibly spend less time maybe trying to watch your triangle count and spend a little bit more time actually creating all of these details. So unless these are like just photo scanned models, which they actually might be if they were actually made by hand or at least cleaned up after being photo scanned, like this is just so much detail. I don't think people realize necessarily when looking at all of these cinematics and seeing the camera cut to all of these different scenes, just how much work it actually takes to make a scene feel full and rich and not just like some kind of art test. So I'm blown away by that, honestly. It's a lot of particles. Too many for the compression to handle for this video. Oh, snow. Cut to snow. Those kinds of that actually looks quite funny. The footsteps, when the footsteps land, there's like an explosion of snow particles. That's pretty funny. It doesn't look very realistic, but look at that. That's funny. Oh, I love snow. I love snow particles. Kind of want to see the interaction between snow a little bit more, but yeah. I really do wonder how much, oh, you can see some of that hair shading, like noise. I really wonder how much, like, how big these assets are and how big they will be when they're packaged. Because to me, this almost looks up to par with like the Unreal Engine 5 tech demos we've seen, which a lot of people were arguing like, okay, cool, it's a tech demo, it's not going to make it into a final game. I more or less think it has the potential to. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's just that, again, distribution size can be a major problem, as well as obviously having to stream that many assets does limit potentially what platforms you can actually ship on. But yeah, like the landscape, and I think like the characters, some of the characters and some of the skin shading they're using is also really, really, really good. But a lot of like the high detail we've seen so far has been static environment stuff. Oh wow, that's a very detailed monkey right there. Look at that. No, that's quite nice. Like, you know, my point with that is that like this roof and this snow, which looks phenomenal by the way, it's all kind of very static. Like we're not really seeing, you know, physics and destruction and all of that stuff with that. There's no real reason why that couldn't exist, but I guess it's just sometimes it's kind of important to be able to differentiate between static geometry and how good we can kind of have that at, and then compared to like dynamic geometry, because obviously if things move, like the lighting needs to be recalculated and there are other kind of problems that might happen with that. But their snow looks really good. Snow is actually very difficult to make because snow is made up of tiny particles in real life. This looks really good. I mean, you know, really good. I feel like the better the game looks, sometimes the harsher I might sound. And that's not necessarily because I'm being harsh. It's just because it's so good that my eyes are turning towards the imperfections, because overall it's just so good. There's nothing I can really say to make this feel like, honestly, it might seem like I'm ripping into this, but I'm honestly amazed by everything I'm seeing. I just want to say that right now. The way the snow moves here is a little bit jarring. But, you know, it's work in progress, and the snow just looks so good that I'd be happy to accept it. Oh my goodness. There's also, I'm seeing quite a lot of noise. I think it's from like the hair or the motion blur. You can actually see it over here. I don't think it's like video compression or anything, because I have seen this kind of stuff in games. I'm not 100% sure what is actually causing it, but to me, like you know, stuff like this, like that's motion blur, but like it's, why is it so noisy? Motion blur really isn't that noisy usually, as far as I'm aware. Like all of this stuff, you know, that's kind of weird to me. I don't know what that is. And I mean, yeah, around the hair and stuff, I kind of expect that to an extent, but there's just so much kind of noise going on. I'm just wondering where exactly that's coming from. It does seem to happen a lot during motion. So yeah, I can't, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think what rendering kind of pass, I guess, could be causing that, but I'm not really sure. Could be like Unreal Engine 5 early access stuff, but it's weird. It almost looks like some form of dithering. It seems like it's tied in with the motion blur. That's the most like annoying thing to me right now watching this. Like the way that the snow is like kind of a bit, you know, not like not physically simulated, is fine. Like, I don't really care that much about that. My goodness, so much. Just look at all the rocks with the little snow on them, and like all of these kinds of like, I mean like, I don't know. It's just so there's just so much, you know, that has happened here in these frames. Like even these kind of like twigs up here that you might not be able to see because of the face cam. That's kind of annoying. But there's stuff, these twigs just covered in snow, and like there's just so much detail everywhere. And the fighting feels really cool. What was that? That was weird. I like how the combat is leaving marks in the snow. That's always fun. You can see how much the snow has roughed up from their fighting. I like the kind of simplistic UI and the fact that there's not too much, like, the fight is not kind of telling you to press certain buttons, or, you know, it's kind of very minimalistic. I quite like that. Oh, that's cool. A little firing. Would have been cool if the fire kind of melted the snow around it. Oh, that's interesting. This game would be really cool to experience, like, if it wasn't a video. Like, with the compression and everything. Because I'm watching it at 4K 60, but I'm seeing some, like, quite a lot of artifacts. Especially when the particles come out. Blood effects need a bit of work, I think. That's such a bizarre bird with like a head on it. Looks really cool though. Oh, a little flying scene. This is nice. Look at these environments, man. It just feels like the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, but snow. Which is like a good thing. Wow. This is interesting because it's on ice. Wonder if we'll see any water from below the ice, if there is any. This is all a bit hard to watch with compression. Lightning effects are cool. Bit of a frame drop there. The camera work is quite interesting here. I don't know if it's like entirely a player-controlled camera, or if it's like kind of tracking the dragon. I'm not sure. Or if it's like both. Ooh, that was unexpected. Oh, are we gonna see him breaking the ice now? Yep, there we go. That's what I was waiting for.
还记得盂兰会上，世尊说过，众生之苦，多因不守戒律，放情纵欲。要我说，放屁。
The story is really, like, intriguing. Because it just feels so foreign. Like, I have no idea what's going on. The more I see this, like, a bit of a personal opinion here, so, I mean, I guess that's what these reactions are about, but those kinds of, like, blurry wave kind of effects every time they swing a weapon, kind of a little bit annoying. Like, it's getting a little bit annoying. Maybe it's too harsh, maybe the blur is too much. Like, I don't know, I could see myself getting annoyed with that if I had to play, like, a 60-hour game or whatever with that. The rest of the effects look great, but just that stuff is a bit... Yeah, lots of particle effects. I think that's what I mean. Oh, these environments do not look as detailed anymore. This one's good. Look at that bear, damn. Look at the fur. What is that? I haven't been reading the subtitles. Wow, look at that. Yeah, these guys are definitely taking advantage of Unreal Engine 5's, like, nanite stuff. I mean, Lumen as well, obviously, for everything, but, like, I just mean, just the sheer amount of detail everywhere. They're able to really jam in a lot of, like, meshes and very detailed meshes into their scenes. Look at those particles. Birds and snow. Yeah. Yeah, that was, I mean, I kind of expected this, to be honest, because Unreal Engine 5 and the first time we looked at this trailer, like a year ago or whenever, it was also really cool. So they've done a lot, I think, to flesh out the environments, make them a little bit more kind of saturated with content. I think that the only thing that can possibly let this game down is if Unreal Engine 5 don't deliver on their actual kind of distribution side of things, meaning that it's still early access. There's probably some potential kind of problems that may stop this from being like globally distributed, in the sense of like packaging and some other kind of like hardware support or other kind of problems that I can potentially see there, but I'm sure that will be worked out because I don't see any release date that they're giving. And I mean, the year's almost, I still feel like it's like March. The year's like more than half over, so probably by next year it will be ready. And then obviously like the story and the storytelling aspect of it, that's going to be really important, I think, because so far it's quite vague, or maybe that's just me because I've been mostly not trying to piece together the story too much. But either way, it looks fantastic. This is definitely a game I think I would pick up for probably the PlayStation 5, just because I think that can really benefit from it, and I still can't get my hands on a normally priced like NVIDIA 30 series GPU, so it's the way it is. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Let me know what you want to see next as well. I do have, I think, a few things to look at when I get the chance to. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.